Nice to have you all. Can you hear me, all of you?
Good morning,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, good morning, good morning. So, today's topic is about Jashan, the Jashan ritual. And it is something that all of us have witnessed and participated. I'm sure that there is none of us who has not seen or witnessed a Jashan. But the fact is that we are not much aware of what goes on in the Jashan, what happens in the Jashan, or how can we be uh, more participating in it, more actively connected to it. So today's talk is about what is a Jashan, why is it performed, and how can we be more connected to it. I will be trying to cover almost all the aspects of the Jashan, but even then, if any of you feel that any aspect is left out, we can discuss it. So let us start with the word Jashan. Generally, the word Jashan, I'm sure those who are aficionados of the Urdu and Hindi language must have heard the word Jashan several times when talking with Hindi speaking people, especially those who speak Urdu. And in that Indian languages, the word Jashan means a celebration, a festival. And so many of us believe that the word Jashan has been derived from that word. But actually the word Jashan is derived from the Avesta word Yasna. Yasna means a ceremony with offerings, a ritual with offerings. We all know that we have a kriya called Ijashnini Kriya, which is performed in the Agyaris and Atash Berams by two highly efficient morbets, the Ijashni. The word Ijashni also originally comes from the word Yasna, and the word Jashan also comes from the same root, from the same word. Now, Firdoshi in the Shahnama has mentioned Jashan several times, even much before Prophet Zarathustra's emergence, which happened during the Kayanian times, during the reign of King Gushtas. Even much before that also, the Jashan ritual is mentioned by Firdoshi. He has mentioned the Tirangan Jashan, the Jamshedi Nauroz Jashan, the Merangan Jashan, all of which were performed before Zarathustra. Of course, the prayers and the rituals may have been different, but there was a ritual in the pre-Zoroastrian times also, which was called the Jashan, and even today we celebrate those Jashans. Just a couple of days back, we had Tir Mahino and Tir Roj. And on Tir Mahino and Tir Roj, we have the Jashan of Tirangan. So like that, we have Jashans mentioned in the Shahnama. Now, we have two types of rituals, the inner rituals and the outer rituals. The inner rituals are those which can be performed only in a sanctified place like the Agyari and Atashvera, like the Ijashni, Vandidad, Nirangin, etc. Those are called inner rituals. And then there are outer rituals which can be performed in any ritually clean place, even in our houses, like the Jashan, the Afargan, the Farokshi, the Satum. So Jashan is one of the most commonly performed outer ritual, as it is called. And the religious term for an outer ritual is Hoshmordini Kriya. Hoshmordini Kriya means an outer ritual, which can be performed in any clean place. Now, in a Jashan ritual, what do the Mawbed Sahibs do? In actuality, the Mawbed Sahibs invoke three important divine beings. These three divine beings are, first of all, we invoke Dadar Ormazd and thank him. Secondly, we invoke Dharm Yazar. Dharm Yazar is a lesser known Yazar who presides over peace and harmony and happiness in the house. And lastly, Sarosh Yazar, who is the Yazar who takes our prayers to God and brings his blessings to us. By and large, whenever a Mohammed Sahib performs a Jashan in the house, he invokes these three rituals. But if there is a specialized Jashan, say somebody wants to thank Behram Yazar, then Behram Yazar is also invoked in the Jashan. Or if somebody wants to have a Jashan for a new house or a newly acquired place, so at that time, a special Amesha Aspan called the Aspandad Amesha Aspan, who presides over the earth, she is invoked for the Jashan. So depending on our need, if we request the Mohammed Sahib, they invoke extra divine beings in a Jashan ritual. But otherwise, by and large, Dadar Ormaz, Dam Yazad and Sarosh Yazad are invoked in a Jashan. Now, if you have witnessed a Jashan, and I'm sure all of you have witnessed a Jashan, you may have seen that the Mohammed Sahibs perform many ritual acts. The most common is sitting up, standing up, sitting down, standing up, sitting down, holding flowers, exchanging flowers. Like these, there are many ritual acts in the Jashan, and today we'll try and understand those ritual acts also. Now, you may have all noticed that people prefer the day Mahino for Jashan. Especially in Mumbai, the priests are very busy during the day Mahino, which is the 10th month of the Zoroastrian calendar year, and that is most preferred for Jashan. Now, why do we prefer day Mahino for Jashan? We prefer day Mahino for Jashan because day Mahino is dedicated to Dadar Ormas. And Dadar Ormas is thanked in the Jashan. As we have seen, Aura Mazda is the first divine being who is thanked in the Jashan. So, day Mahino being the month of Dadar Ormas, day Mahino is preferred for Jashan. Otherwise, according to me, any day of any month of the year is good enough for performing a Jashan. Now we call Jashan a ritual. Gujarati ma we call it a kriya. Jashan ni kriya. In English, we call it the Jashan ritual. So what is a ritual? A ritual has certain specific characteristics. Any ritual, any Jarthosti kriya kam has the following characteristics. First of all, in a ritual, prayers are done.
Excuse me, Rami uncle. I'm sorry to disturb you. Can I please request everyone press the mute button, please? Just to avoid any distraction for Rami uncle during his presentation. Thank you. Please ensure you're on mute. Thank you very much. Rami uncle, over to you.
Yeah, sure. So in a Jashan is also a ritual. And in any ritual, the following things are necessary. First of all, there should be prayers involved. Prayers in the Avastha and the Pazan language. That is the most important part of a ritual. Secondly, there should be some sort of an offering. Small or big, some sort of an offering. Like even a glass of water or a cup of milk is an offering. Another very important aspect of a ritual is that there has to be a human being involved in the performance of a Jashan. That human being may be a Mohammed Sahib, a priest, that human being may be you yourself, any lay person, but a human being has to be there as part of a ritual. Then in a Zoroastrian ritual, a light or fire plays a very important role. Any sort of natural light or fire. Then there are certain ritual acts involved. And finally, a ritually clean place environment is necessary for a ritual. So a ritual entails these things, and we see that all these things are there in a Jashan. We'll see it shortly. But that's why Jashan is called a ritual. And Zoroastrian is a religion which has several rituals. There are at least 20 to 25 common rituals in Zoroastrian religion. And there are some rituals which have now ceased to be performed. But Zoroastrian religion for that purpose is called a ritual intensive religion, and Jashan is one of the most common ritual, outer ritual. Now generally a Jashan is performed by 2 priests. That is the ideal condition, 2 or 4 priests. But a Jashan can be performed by as many number of priests as possible. Like there have been instances where there have been more than 300 priests in a Jashan. So one can perform a Jashan with as many number of priests as one wants. Or in the worst case scenario, when there is only 1 priest available, then one can perform a Jashan with even 1 priest alone. But the important thing is that however, whatever the number of priests, whether it is 1 or 300, there is only 1 chief priest who is called Jyoti or Zoti, Zautar, the chief priest, the officiating priest. The rest of all the priests are called Rathvi or Atarvakshi, which is an assistant priest. So in any Jashan, there is always 1 Jyoti. There may be no Rathvi. Where there is no second priest available, there is no Rathvi. Or where there are 300 priests, then all of the rest of 299 priests are Rathvi. But there is only 1 priest who is a Jyoti or the chief priest. Like this is a photo of a Jashan where many priests are participating. As you can see, this is a photo of a Jashan where there are many Vada Dasturjis, but there are a few priests. Now, what are the broad functions of a Jashan? Why is a Jashan performed? First of all, let me tell you, any Zoroastrian ritual is a dramatization of certain teachings of the religion. We know there are many basic teachings of our religion which we may tend to forget in our day-to-day life. So Jashan or any other ritual is a means to dramatize a religious teaching. We will see which religious teaching is dramatized and shown in the Jashan. But one of the important functions in a Jashan is to dramatize a religious teaching. Second and the most important function of Jashan or any ritual is to draw spiritual energy. Jene, in ordinary words we call khore. In Avastha we call khorenam. And according to me, the interplay of energy, divine energy, is the most important purpose of any religion, especially the Zoroastrian religion. The most important aspect of a religion is to have divine energy and to draw divine energy, khore. So Jashan also plays that very important role of drawing and sharing divine energy or khore. Another important purpose of a Jashan is to establish a communication with the divine world. Invite Aura Mazda, invite Amesha's Spans, invite Yazads, invite Ashofarohars, invite Ashoruans to be present in the house. You are requesting them to come and be present in the house. So in a way you are establishing a direct communication with the divine world. Another important purpose of Jashan ritual is to show that there is harmony in this world. There are 7 creations in the world which are good, and we need to harmoniously live with those 7 creations. Another important purpose of the ritual, Jashan ritual, is to thanksgiving to ancestors, our parents, if they have passed away, who have shaped our community, our society, our country. Jashan is a way to show that obligation and to express that obligation. So these are the main purposes of a Jashan ritual. Now there are different types of Jashans. First of all, we have Zinde Rawan Jashan and Anushe Rawan Jashan. Zinde Rawan means Jashan for happy occasion, for drawing blessings and grace on the living people. So Zinde means a living soul. Zinde Rawan means a living soul. And we can also perform a Jashan in memory of departed ones. So that is called an Anushe Ravannu Jashan. So Anushe Ravannu Jashan, Anushe, the word Anushe Ravan, we may be hearing several times in our prayers. Anushe Ravan means immortal.
I don't know how do you take this up.
Anushe Ravan means immortal soul. It does not mean a dead soul. Generally, we believe that Nam Chesti Anushe Ravan Ravani Mohammed Sahib Bole. So it Anushe Ravan means a dead person. But there is nothing like a dead soul. A soul can never be dead. A soul is immortal. So a soul can either be of a living person, which is called a Zinde Ravan, or it could be soul is called an immortal soul. Ravan Jashan or Anushe Ravan Jashan. Then because Jashan, it is especially a ritual for thanksgiving to Dada Rauramasta for all his bounties that we get throughout the life and throughout the year. So another purpose of Jashan is thanksgiving. Then another important function of a Jashan is to celebrate festivals. In Zoroastrian religion, the term for festival is broadly Gambars and Parabs. Parab is when a day and a month, the yazar of the day and month coincide, like Tir Mahino, Tir Roj, Bamban Mahino, Bamban Roj. These are called Parabs. And that word has come from festival. And the word Parab in our religion dictionary comes from the word Parva. Then there are commemoration Jashans. We perform Jashans on death anniversary of our dear departed ones, on the Salgires of Agyaris and Atashveras. So those are commemoration Jashan. Then all the historical Jashans are mentioned in the Shahnameh. Jashan-e-Sadeh, which is to remember King Hoshang of the Peshawarian dynasty. We have the Jamshedi Nowroz Jashan, performed on 21st March to remember King Jamshed once again of the Peshawarian dynasty. We have the Mehrangan Jashan, performed on Mehr Mahino Mehr Roj, which is to remember King Faridun again of the Peshawarian dynasty and his victory over the evil Zohak. Then we have Tirgan Jashan. Just a few days back we had Tir Mahino Tir Roj. And Tirgan Jashan reminds us of the peaceful victory of King Minochair over the evil Turanian King Afrasiab. Then we have more recent events like the Sanjan Jashan, which commemorates the landing of our ancestors on Sanjan from Diu Bandar. Then we have the Varyao Jashan, which commemorates the fight which our valiant ladies put up with the Muslims in India. That is called the Varyao Jashan. Generally, this Jashan is even today performed in Surat, because Varyao is a village in Surat. And there this historical act occurred where some valiant ladies, in absence of men, fought with some Muslims. But finally, they realized that they were ladies. And so the ladies gave up their life rather than being caught in the hands of the enemies. So this day celebrates the sacrifice of the valiant ladies of Varyal. So like that, we have several jashans performed as community jashans, where the community comes together to remember their historical personages, whether they may be kings of the Peshdarian Kayanian times or heroes and heroines of the more recent past. So this way, the Jashan ritual is also used to bring the community together on historical occasions. Now, what do we require for a Jashan? Generally, the requirements are a ritually clean place. That is, of course, a place can be physically clean, but it has also to be ritually clean. Ritually clean means cleanliness as per the Zoroastrian religious tradition. That is what is meant by ritually clean. We all know we observe the rules of menstruation. So ritually clean means that when that place is ritually clean, means whatever is considered ritually unclean in Zoroastrian religion should not be close by where a Jashan is performed. Secondly, the requirement of a Jashan is the presence of priests. But in absence of priest, even a lay person who is qualified and who has studied can perform a Jashan. So priest or a qualified lay person. Then offerings. We have offerings. In a Jashan, we have 7 different offerings which signify all the 7 creations. The first 7 Roj, Hormuz, Vamman, Ardibesh, Sharevar, Aspanar, Khordad and Amardar are the 7 Ameshaspans. And they look after the 7 creations. So in a Jashan, all the 7 creations are represented. Dadar Hormuz looks after mankind. And the human being in the Jashan represents Dadar Auramazda. When there are 2 human beings, 2 priests, then one priest represents Auramazda and the other priest represents the spiritual lord or master, especially Prophet Zarathustra also. So when there are 2 priests, one priest represents Auramazda and the second priest represents Zarathustra or Avadarastur, but especially Zarathustra. Then second is Bamman Ameshaspan, and Bamman Ameshaspan looks after cattle. So milk or Malido or Ravo is the representative of the animal kingdom, which is put in the Jashan. Thirdly is fire, which is of course present in the Jashan, the representative of Ardibesh Ameshaspan. Fourthly, metal. The utensils we keep, the afarganyu we keep, the khuncha we keep. All these are generally metallic and they represent Sharevar Ameshaspan. Then Aspandad Ameshaspan is Mother Earth, which is represented by the boundary made by the Setranji. The Setranji or the mat demarcates a boundary on the earth on which the Jashan is performed, and that is representing Aspandad Ameshaspan, Mother Earth. Then water represents Khordad Ameshaspan, and the fruits and flowers represent Amardad Ameshaspan. So all the 7 Ameshaspans are present in the Jashan. And in the Jashan, we are told to live harmoniously with all the 7 creations, not to pollute them in any way, and prepare them for the final Frashokereti to come, the final event, where all the creations will be perfect and pure. So Jashan is in a way a march towards perfection. The teaching of one of the teachings of the Jashan is that we have to march towards perfection, towards Frashokereti, when all the evil in the world will prevail. Now, what are the prayers recited in a Jashan? First of all, the Jashan starts with the Atashnyas and the Doanam Sitayashni prayer, which generally the priest stand while doing the Atashnyas. We all know that even when we do the Atashnyas, we stand up and do the Atashnyas. We don't sit and do the Atashnyas. So even the priests, when they do the Atashnyas, they stand up. They don't sit as a mark of respect to the sacred fire. So the Jashan starts with the Atashnyas ritual. Then comes the main part of the ritual, which is called the Mandan or the Dibache, which generally only one priest does. Even if there are two or more than two priests, the Mandan part is done by only the chief priest, the officiating priest, the Zoti. So the Mandan or the Dibache is the part when we remember the names of the departed ones, when we mention the names of the living ones, we mention the name of the people who have ordered the ritual to be performed, what we generally call the Farmayashne. So that is the part wherein the priest says the names out loudly. So that is the second part of the ritual, which is called the Mandan. The third part is called the Kardas. Now, generally, there are three Kardas in the Jashan. One for Dadar Ormas, one for Damyazar, and there could be four as one wants to invoke. And in each of the Karda, certain ritual acts are performed, which we will see later on. And then in between each Kardas, the priest says the Dibacho, but in silence. This Dibache part is once again recited for every Karda, but that is in silence, Bajma Bane. So after every Karda, there is a small period where both the priests seem to be quiet. The priest puts Loban, remembers the departed ones, or seeks blessings for the living ones, but it is done in Baj. Baj means without uttering words. Then they once again start praying loudly. Then once again that Dibache part comes. So this thing keeps on going for 3 times or 4 times, depending on whichever number of Kardas are performed for the Jashans. And finally comes the end part of the Jashan, which is called the Afrins. There are 3 Afrins. Once again, only the Zoti recites the 3 Afrins. The chief priest sits quietly. The assistant priest sits quietly. The word Afrin means blessings. They are prayers in the Afrin of Ardaflavash, which is dedicated to the Ashofarovas. If you listen very attentively, you will realize that the word Hamazor is repeated. Hamazor Baud, Hamazor Hama Asho Baud, Hamazor Hama Neki Baud, Hamazor Hama Kore Baud, Hamazor Vesh Kerfe Baud, Hamazor Kam Gun. So the word Hamazor keeps repeating. And the word Hamazor means may be united in strength. May we be attuned to all those effects. So the first Afrin is called the Afrini Ardafravash. The second Afrin is called the Afrini Buzorgan. Buzorgan means, so in this second Afrin, we seek the blessings of all the great heroes like Rustam Pelwan, Aspanyar, Jamas, Zarir, King Faredun, King Kekhashru. We remember all those great kings. And we wish to be like them. So in this Afrin, the word Betchun keeps on repeating. Avar Vizan Betchun Ada Fravash, Rad Betchun Teshtar, Charva Betchun Varan, Veena Betchun Khurshid. Like this, Ashok Betchun Anwar Betchun Rustam, Nizavar Betchun Aspandiar. So like that we are told that you be like these great people. You be Zoravar like Rustam. You be in the second half. Afrini hafta हमेशा hafta husbands are invoked, and several other things like the other creations, mountains like the Demavan mountain is remembered, and the rivers and several other things are remembered in the third Afrin, and this is called the Afrini Haftamesha Aspan. And finally, the priest recites the Dua Tandarosti. That is the end of the Jashan. This is done by both the priests, Dua Tandarosti. Now, if you notice, there are some parts of the Jashan which all of us know, like the beginning, the Atashnyas and Dua Nam Sitayashni. All of us know it. So while the priest is reciting the Atashnyas and Dua Tandarosti, the lay people can participate in it, pray along with the priest. The rest of the prayers are specialized prayers. Though they are not so private, they can be available in books, but they are prayers which generally the priest only know. But then finally, even the Dua Tandarosti is a prayer which everybody can pray together. This Mandan or Dibacho is also from the Satumno Kardo. So we can, all of us, many of us know the Satumna Karda. So there are prayers in the Jashan which are common to everybody and which everybody can participate in, everybody can recite. So if one tries to participate in a Jashan by being attentive to the prayers and whenever possible participating in those prayers, then a Jashan would be a more rewarding experience. Now, these are just samples of prayers just to show you the beauty of the prayers in the Jashan ritual. I have selected samples from the prayers. So this is a sample from the Mandan, the Dibacho, the beginning, where the Mobed Sahib says, Naam Chesti Zinde Ravan, Bedin Sorab Bedin Rustam Beresar. So when it is a Kushalinu Jashan, the priest says Naam Chesti Zinde Ravan, means I seek blessings for this and this person who is the son of so and so. So Naam Chesti Zinde Ravan, Bedin Sorab Bedin Rustam Beresar means I seek blessings for the living soul of Sorab, who is the son of Rustam. And Naam Chesti means personally, individually. I am praying for this person. Naam Chesti means individually. And if it's and in the Kushalinu Jashan also, we remember Jarthos Sahib, we remember Pacha Pelwans, and we remember also the close relatives who have passed away. So even in the Kushalinu Jashan, the priest says Naam Chesti Anushe Ravan Ravani. And over there he says Bedin Aspandyar Bedin Gustas Aidar Yadbar. Aidar Yadbar means we remember them here. Aidar means here, Yad means remember. Means we remember the souls of so and so, the son of so and so, or if in the case of a married lady, so and so, the husband of so and so. Like we can say Naam Chesti Anushe Ravan Ravani, Bedin Hutokshi, Bedin Gustas Aidar Yadbar. So it is Hutokshi, wife of Gustas, we remember here. So like that we remember the people by name. And that happens in the Mandan. Then comes the second part of the prayer, which is called the Karda. Now I'll give you one small example of the beautiful prayers which are recited in the Jashan. When the priest recites the prayer for Dhamyaza, what is the priest saying? The priest is saying, may blessings, innocence, and gratitude for the righteous come to this house. May there arise now in this family righteousness, sovereignty, prosperity, glory, and happiness. May truthfulness, power, prosperity, glory, happiness, and continue. May there be abundance of cattle. Cattle means wealth, because in the olden times cattle were a means of wealth. So there will be abundance of wealth, righteousness, influence of righteous people, and righteous order of overalls for the house. I am not saying all the prayers, but they are beautiful prayers. And one of my personal favorite is, may obedience prevail over disobedience in the house. May peace prevail over discord. May charity prevail over stinginess. May humility prevail over arrogance. May truth prevail over falsehood. And may righteousness prevail over prayers that the priests are reciting when they are doing the Jashans. And then now a sample of the final part of the Jashan, which is called the Afreen. Afreen means the prayer for blessings. So here the priest says, may cheerfulness, joy, good fortune, and goodness arrive from the south. May disease, sickness, misery, harm, selfishness, and all other types of evil flee towards the north. See the juxtaposition of south and north even in our prayers. South is believed to be the side of goodness, and north is believed to be the side of evil. So here in the prayers, the word avaktar or apaktar refers to the north. And how do the priests end the prayer, end the Jashan? There is a beautiful prayer called Dhamman Kepeimyas. In this prayer, the priest says that maybe steps towards religion. We have been given certain steps to religion. Towards the religion to come to us. Har Gamira Hazar Vadvisat Gam Bahesht. So every step we take towards goodness, we are taking 1,200 steps towards heaven. So such are the beautiful sentiments that are expressed in the prayers, in the Jashan prayer. Now, in the Jashan, there are some cool gestures. તમે મોબેડોને કંઈ કરતા જોશો તો એ મોબેડો શું કરે છે? What are the mobeds doing? And why are they doing what they are doing? So let us take an idea about that. Now you notice that this is the beginning of the Jashan. The mobeds are praying the Atashnyas. This is a 4 mobed Jashan. So first of all, you see the priest, this is the Ratvi. This priest is the Ratvi. This priest is the Zoti, and these are the other 2 assistant Ratvis. So this is the chief Ratvi. So he is holding the chamach in his hand. The chamach is being touched to the Afarganya, if you notice. Now why is the Mobed Sahib touching the chamach to the Afarganya, the fireways? And why are all the priests holding hands? All the priests are holding hands. If there are 2 priests will hold hands. If there are 4 priests, all the 4 priests will hold hands. If there are 300 priests, all the 3 priests will hold hands. So that is called Paivan. Any sort of connection in a Jashan is called Paivan. So first of all, the first Paivan is with the fire. Over here. And that fire is a conduit for divine energy. So first of all, the divine energy that comes from the divine world comes into the fire. When the priest touches the chamach or the ladle to the fire, this priest is drawing divine energy towards him. Okay, from the Afarganyu, from the fire, divine energy comes to this first priest. And when he holds hands with all the other priests, they are encircling themselves in the energy circle. All of them are sharing energy over here. So that's why the first ritual gesture is of touching the Afarganyu and holding hands. This is sharing of Khore, sharing of divine energy. And this is the first important ritual of the Jashan. It is called the Paivan. The second thing that you will notice is before the priest sits down, and during several other phases in the Jashan, the priest continue doing what is called a spiritual handshake. It is called a Hamazor. Be hathni vacche be hath le, be priest, and they do a spiritual handshake. And that spiritual handshake is called a Hamazor. Means sharing of divine energy. Now the priests have drawn the divine energy in them. And all the priests, first the Jyoti and the Rathvi, and the Jyoti with all the other priests, this is spiritual handshake and share divine energy. In the past, I have been told that after the Jashan, all the participants of the Jashan used to do the Hamazor with the chief priest. And that was in a way sharing of energy with the priest. When we partake of the Chashni of the Jashan, what are we in effect doing? When we are eating the Chashni of the Jashan, we are also partaking the divine energy that the priests have drawn into the fruits and the malido and the milk. And then when we eat the fruit, the malido, we are partaking of that divine energy. And that is why we say that the Chashni has a divine element and one has to be ritually pure when one partakes of the Chashni. So as you see already, the Jashan is a lot about divine energy and sharing of divine energy. Another important aspect of the Jashan is keeping 8 flowers. The Rathvi in the Khum, and these 8 flowers are arranged like this. 2 are vertical. The first 2 flowers are vertical and 6 flowers are horizontal. So he places them in a particular order. The first flower represents Jyoti or God Aura Mazda. The second flower, which is vertical, represents Zarathustra, or the main representative of God on earth. That is the second flower. And the rest of the 3 flowers, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th. Notice the order. 3, 4, 5 are coming down. 3, 4, 5 are arranged like this. 6, 7, 8 are arranged like this. So this, first of all, this 6 flowers represents the other 6 Ameshaspans. In the 7 Ameshaspans, the first Ameshaspan is Aura Mazda, which is already represented over here. The next of the 6 Ameshaspans are represented over here. This is the most important aspect of the Darshan, wherein we see that there are two worlds, the spiritual world and the physical world. The Jyoti is representing the spiritual world. So all is knowledge from the spiritual world. And the Gathas, the main Ameshaspans is not used in the Gathas. The name of all the 6 Ameshas frequently in the Gathas. So all the knowledge of all Shaspan which is there in the Gathas. So when we the flowers to the Ratri, what is the Jyoti doing actually Ratri? Which is asking the Ratri to share with the rest of the world. Ritual, the Jyoti is representing Aura Mazda and the energy to the Ratri. And the Ratri is then to share it with the whole world. So, once again coming 3, 4, 5 are arranged downwards. And you know, there are particular words on which the priest picks up the flowers. And these words are Humatanam, good thoughts, good words, good deeds. While reciting these 3 words, there is a big spiritual science involved in this. Soul comes from the spirit, and these 3 flowers descend into the material world, represent our ascent back into the 6 flowers. Tells us a lot of things. They tell us about the Ameshaspan. They tell us about the virtues that the Amesha. They tell us about that it comes as good deeds and knowledge in fine world. So the story of the soul is encapsulated, and when we pay attention, in effect, the priests are dramatizing a very important age. So when the Jyoti, his right hand, this is the flower. In essence, the Jyoti is saying that I am Aura Mazda. And the Ratri, who is representing Zarathustra, says, yes, I am your representative. Then the Jyoti gives this second flower to the Ratri, the main Ratri who is standing opposite to him. And the Ratri holds the flower in his hand. And he says, yes, I will uphold your religion. I will uphold your teachings. Then he accumulates flowers in his hands. And then he again gives back those flowers to the Jyoti, who represents Aura Mazda. And that, in essence, is the story of the soul. That Aura Mazda thi apre aaya, apre ay dunya ma raya, and again we are going back to Aura Mazda. So the flowers that the Jyoti is holding is our soul in a way. We have come from the spiritual world. We have come to the material world. We are living in the material world through the teachings that our prophet has taught us. And we are again giving back the accumulation of our good deeds back to Aura Mazda so that we can get a good place in heaven in the spiritual world. So in a very beautiful way, the Jashan tells us why we are there in the world. What is the purpose of life? All those things we are told in the Jashan ritual. Then there is one more ritual where the priest holds the chipyo in his hand, right hand, and touches it to the karasya. And then first he touches the four sides, north, east, south, and west. So what the Jyoti does is with his chipya, he touches four directions, north, east, south, west. And by doing that, he is saying two things. Firstly, that I accept the omnipresence of Aura Mazda on all sides, the presence of Aura Mazda on all sides. And the second thing that he is saying is that I fortify myself against all evil. From all sides, I am fortifying. So this ritual of touching the karasya by the priest, when the children are very young, they enjoy doing this. They feel like they are playing drums, like tung 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 tung. They do it, but actually there is a way and there is a reason for doing it. And that reason is, first, while praying the Yathavaryo, the priest touches the four sides, north, south, east, west. And then he touches the four corners while saying the Ashimbo, northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. He touches the four corners. So he touches 8 times the karasyo, the metal urn, the metal vase. And that has again a lesson for us that we have to accept the omnipresence of Aura Mazda, that Aura Mazda is there everywhere. And secondly, we have to accept that there is evil around. So we have to also need to fortify ourselves, protect ourselves from evil from all sides. So this is the other ritual gesture done during the Jashan. Now, while we are participating in the Jashan ritual, it is supposed to be an act of merit. And so it is, people invite us when there is a Jashan in the house. We have to bear in mind that we should not take away any of the good aspect of the Jashan which the priests are doing. So we have to observe as many rules and regulations as our religion tells us and then participate in the Jashan. And also we have to be mindful of what the priests are doing because it teaches us certain lessons. So what are the do's at the time of Jashan? One is, while we are participating in the Jashan, we have to cover our head. Secondly, we have to do the kasti. That will give us a more chance to absorb the divine energy that the priests are generating. Then we have to try and pray along with the priest, or if possible, individually, but avoid chit chat and disturbance. That is something very important. We have to try and be mentally with the priest, try and be with them while they are saying prayers or performing rituals. If that is not possible, we can do our own individual prayers. Even that is not possible, just sit and meditate. But see that you don't create disharmony and disturbance while the priests are praying. And one most important thing, non-Zoroastrians should be requested not to be physically present where the Jashan is performed. Because as I said, Jashan is performed at a place which is supposed to be ritually clean. And we have to ensure ritual cleanliness where the Jashan is being performed. So to ensure the exchange of energies and presence of the divine beings, we have to ensure that our non-Zoroastrian friends are not physically present near the place where the Jashan is being performed. Then there is generally a question asked whether one can put a loban when there is Khushalinu Jashan done. In the past 3 or 4 decades, we have seen that people advise not to put loban in Khushalinu Jashan and only do the Overna. Now from a religious point of view, nothing stops us from putting loban. Putting loban is a sign of encouraging good energies in the environment and the surrounding. Putting loban has got nothing to do with departed ones. Of course, it ensures the presence of Ashur ones and Ashur Parohs, but there is nothing wrong in that. On the contrary, it's a very positive thing. So we can put loban even in a Khushalinu Jashan, but very important thing, we have to put a very small pinch, a few grains, and not a feastful of loban. That's why the priests generally don't encourage putting loban, because people generally put feastful of loban, and that creates a lot of smoke, which is injurious and not helpful. So if at all we are putting loban, it should just be a couple of grains, especially when there is a big gathering. Just a few grains, a small pinch, and not more than that. Then we have to have chasni by observing the rules of ritual purity. If our non-Zoroastrian friends are invited after the Jashan, what we can do is we can take a few fruits and some amount of malido and mevo or whatever and keep it separate beforehand. Apna Bap Dadao bhi te karta tha, our ancestors used to do it, and it was called achimat. I don't know whether you have heard this word before, but it was called achimat. Achimat means if it has to be, anything has to be shared. There's nothing wrong in sharing fruits and malido, but that has not to be preyed upon. So you can just put a symbolic fruits in the Jashan. The rest of it, if you need to share it with non-Zoroastrians, you can put outside and you can share those fruits and malido with the non-Zoroastrians. And those which has been preyed upon can be eaten by the Zoroastrians who are observing the laws of ritual purity. So there are ways and means of doing all these things. Now often a question is asked, what is the difference between Jashan and Faresta? Now Faresta and Jashan are by and large very similar rituals. The only thing is that in Jashan we generally invoke only 3 divine beings, Dadar, Ormas, Dharm and Saroshezas. Whereas in Faresta, we invoke all the 33 Yazads and Ameshaspas. And that is why it's a long drawn ritual. Then in Jashan, there is generally no associated badge in the Agyari, where in Faresta, there are 33 associated badge in the Agyari. Then Jashan can be done with minimal fruits, or even one fruit, one plantain, one chip of pomegranate is enough for a Jashan. Whereas for Faresta, a lot of fruits are involved. In Jashan, 2 priests are ideal. One can perform Jashan even in 1 priest. But for Faresta, we require at least 4 priests, minimum of 4 priests. And then again a few priests in the Agyari to do the badge. So Faresta requires many priests and a lot of things. So it becomes a very expensive affair. So these are the main differences between a Jashan and Faresta. Otherwise, by and large, by sight, their prayers are almost similar. So to conclude, we will just say that the Jashan is a very important ritual. And what we can take home from this talk is, one of the most important things that the Jashan deals with is energy. It draws divine energy from the divine world. What the priests are doing is drawing divine energy. And we have to see to it that we actually help the process and don't do anything to harm the process of drawing and sharing energy. Another important lesson that the Jashan is teaching us is that there is good and evil in the world. But we have to be mindful of the evil and keep ourselves protected from it. Another important thing that the Jashan tells us is that there is a spiritual world and there is a material world. And we have to be constantly in touch with the two worlds. Because finally, everything has to go back to the spiritual world. A point will come when the material world will cease to exist. So, we have to be always mindful of the material and spiritual existences. Geti Minoani, as we say in the Uramazda Khodai prayer, Geti Minoani has always to be there in the mind. And finally, we have to be in unity and harmony with all the other human beings, not only human beings, all the other creations, living, non-living, not pollute the world, keep it pure. And that is the secret to being healthy and happy in life. So I hope I have covered most of the points which are there in the Jashan ritual. If there are any points which you feel have been left out, or if there is something in the mind that you want to share or ask, you are always welcome. As Kainaz has pointed out, you can put it on the chat and we can discuss it later on. So thank you so very much for your patience. Atha Jamyar Yatha Afina.
Thank you so much, Rami Uncle. I have to say that was a fascinating talk. We learned a lot. And as you said, most of us have experienced the Jashan ceremony, but I'm sure most of us had no clue about the significance of the actual detail in that. So thank you very much. We have a myriad of questions today. So you mentioned that in extreme cases, you can allow for only one priest to perform the Jashan ceremony. Does that make the Jashan ceremony less impactful or less potent? What is the reasoning that it has to be minimum of 2? And what happens if indeed one priest performs the ceremony?
See, as I told you, Jashan is a drawing of divine energy. That is one of the important aspects. And why we have a bigger Jashans of 300 priests or 100 priests or 50 priests? So that more morbets praying, there is more drawing of energy. So I believe that is the only thing that can be the difference. That if there are 2 priests, there's more drawing of energy, more sharing of energy. Apart from that, I think 1 priest, and there are even ways and means of, like, if there are 2 priests and he exchanges flowers, he gives flowers to the other priest, and there are some ritual gestures which the 2 priests do with each other. But then when there's only 1 priest, there are ways of doing things by only 1 priest with 2 hands. So the other hand represents the other priest. So whatever the ritual gestures are there of 2 priests, 1 priest does it with 1 hand, taking the other hand as the other priest. And then once when he has to touch the other priest, do the Hamazor, do the spiritual handshake with the priest. When there is only 1 priest, he does the Hamazor with Mother Earth, Aspandadameshastri. So there are ways and means of doing these things. But as I said, if there are 2 priests or 4 priests or 40 priests, the power of drawing the divine energy, the Kore, is much more. Apart from that, there is nothing else.
Perfect. Thank you. I have a question here which may or may not pertain to the Jashan ceremony itself, but I'm sure you'll enlighten us. When praying homage to the 4 directions in Rapitwan Ke, should the start Azahmagana Patapashamanum and Ashembahu be prayed facing the east and ending with facing west?
I didn't exactly get the question. Are you talking of the full prayer or just the first line?
I believe it would be the full prayer of Rapitwan Ke. maybe Jimmy Daruwala would like to clarify by coming off mute. But I interpret that when praying in Rapitwange, should the start of that and Ashimbahu be prayed facing the east and end with facing west?
See, I'll tell you generally what is there. When we, if after my answering the question, if it is still unclear, please let me know.
Sure.
While doing the Char Dishana Namaskar, we generally start with facing the sun. Okay, so generally if it's morning time, Havan Ge, we start with facing the east.
Correct.
Generally north is the last direction that we will face.
Correct.
So then how will we go? East, south, west and north.
Yes.
That is the way we will rotate.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Now, Rapitwan Ge is a bone of contention because priests belonging to different places like Navsari and Udwada have different ideas. Priests from Udwada believe that in Rapitwan Ge, south should be faced. And in Ujiran Ge, you should pray with the west. But according to me, what it is okay, whatever is there. So what we can do is in Havan and Rapitwan, in Havan Ge, we start with the east.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, east, south, west, north. And in the Rapitwan and Ujiran Ges, what we can do is we can start with the south. We have to start with the south. So it will go south, west, west. In Rapitwan Ujiran Ges, we start with west because generally the sun is in the west, especially in the northern hemisphere. I am talking of the northern hemisphere just now. You belong to the southern hemisphere. So here we'll again discuss later on, but these rules and regulations are for the northern hemisphere. So generally we start facing the sun. So in the northern hemisphere, in the Ujiran and Rapitwan Ge, we start with the west,
Okay.
then the south, then the east, and then the north. So in a way anti-clockwise. Whereas
Okay.
the Havan Ge, we start clockwise.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay, so does that answer the question?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then what people generally do is, after doing the 4 directions, whichever direction they have turned, they again go back the same way to the original direction and finish Ammai Rascha, Azangaram, Jasanam Mazda and Kerfe Mazda. Once again, take the same clockwise or anti-clockwise circle, come back to the original position and finish the Ammai Rascha to Kerfe Mazda.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Another question, Doctor, is can you take the names of the departed in Kushalinu Jashan?
Yes, of course, we can remember the names of departed ones, invite their presence, seek their blessings and help. For those who may not be aware, in all Kushalina Jashans, the Mobed Sahib takes the name of Jarthos Sahib, what we call Padsha Pelwans, means the important heroes and kings of the historical past. Then they even take the name of their family. Like when I do any Jashan, even Kushalinu Jashan, I remember my father who has passed away. People in the Agyari, Mobeds and Panthakis in the Agyari, remember the name of the settler or the trustee, main trustee or something. Everybody remembers the name of Kukadaru Sahib, Homaji. So like that, we do remember the names of departed ones. And the priest also asks generally, even in a Kushalinu Jashan, that tamara immediate family members na naam lewa ke nathi lewa. Like not many, but say like 4, 8, 10 at the most. The immediate family members who have passed away. So te loko na namo, ai je apne Padsha Pelwano na namo kahiye, teni sathe levaય, only once. So the name of the living people are taken thrice in a Kushalinu Jashan, because that is the predominant purpose of the Kushalinu Jashan. But the names of departed ones are also taken along with the names of Jartho Sahib and Pacha Pelwan, once during the Dibache, and their presence is invited, their blessings are invoked, and their help is asked for. So we always, in all our happy occasions, be it a marriage, be it a Navjot, be it a Jashan, we always invoke blessings of our dear departed ones, ask for their presence, and seek for their help and blessings.
Wonderful. I have a question from Nozer here, that if the father of the Naam Cheshti Zinde Ravan, which is the person on whose behalf we are seeking the blessing, is deceased, how is the name of the deceased alongside the living said by the priest? As in instead of Berasad, does it become Aide Yeran Bar?
Yes, you are perfectly right. You are perfectly right. Like if I have to say my name in a Jashan, I would say my father has passed away. So I would say Naam Cheshti Zinde Ravan, Ervat Ramyar, Ervat Parvez, Aidar Yadbar. If my father were alive, I would say Ervat Ramyar, Ervat Parvez, Beresa. But since he has passed away, I would say Ervat Ramyar, Ervat Parvez, Aidar Yadbar.
Perfect. Just to clarify something, Doctor, you were mentioning the direction with the prayers before with regard to the Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere. When the priest is tapping the, excuse my language, but just the glass of water during the Jashan ceremony, the direction of that, is it opposite if he's in the Southern Hemisphere, or does he follow the normal north, south, east, west order?
So,
This is just to Parveen's question.
yeah, it would be the same thing, because here the more important thing is to point out all the four directions and sides. See,
Okay.
when we are praying, we are facing the sun. That is a different scenario altogether. Like Char Disana Namaskar ni apne jara baat ki thi, when we were talking of the Char Disana Namaskar, the point was facing the sun. Here, while the priest is touching the four directions and four sides, it's nothing to do with facing the light or the sun. It has to acknowledge the omnipresence of Aura Mazda. So that's why it could be any of the four sides, starting with any, in both the hemispheres, it would be the same thing.
Perfect. Thank you. And one last question that I can see is, whilst praying, what if the gaze overlap? So the gaze change when we're praying.
See, while praying whether it's your personal prayer or a Jashan being performed, when the gaze is changing, we are allowed about 10 minutes roughly of overlapping. So if the gaze is changing at 3 o'clock, at the most you can pray till 3:10. But you should not start as if half your ritual will be up in one gay and half your ritual would be another gay. So that has to be ensured. But if there's a overlapping of about 10 minutes, it is ensured, because the general idea was, okay, it takes 8 to 10 minutes for the light of the sun to reach the earth. So keeping that in mind, that 8 to 10 minutes of overlapping was allowed.
Beautiful. And we do have one last question. Can a Jashan be performed in any gay? And I'll just add to that question, is there any gay that Jashan is preferred to be started in for any energetic benefit?
See, Jashan, like most of our other rituals, are best performed in the morning. Because morning is the best time for drawing energy and saying prayers. So the best time for Jashan is morning, as early as possible. But after saying that, one can perform Jashan in any of the gays. Technically, in any of the gays, one can perform Jashan. Especially like there is a Jashan called Jashan-e-Sade, which was performed during winter times. So that was especially to be performed in the Aivishutram gay, Jashan-e-Sade. Or the Rapithwan nu Jashan, when we invite the Rapithwan Yazan. that was especially to be performed in the Rapitwan Ghe. But apart from that, by and large, we can perform Jashan in any Ghe. But the best time is morning as early as possible.
Thank you. That's wonderful. So that concludes the Q&A. If anyone has any last minute questions, we've completed it. But if you've got any dying questions, please do continue to use the chat function. Otherwise, I'd like to thank Ramya Uncle again for a wonderful talk. Great insights into our religion as always. And looking forward to the next presentation already. Thank you on behalf of the audience. And I'll hand over to Rusbe just for some final words. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Amir, as always, a very informative session, and yes, a lot to learn today. We normally do Jashans very often, but I think very rarely do we realize the significance of the ceremony, and I think it has been very informative. So thank you very much for sharing that knowledge. And yes, we did have a good turnout today. We've had about 55 participants. So thank you all very much for your support, and hope that continues to grow for future sessions. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks a lot, Kainaz.
There was a request for playing Ashimbo at the end. If
Yes.
wants.
Yes. Yes, that'll be wonderful.
Let's do that.
You.
Thank you all, everybody. Once again, I will not like to name everybody, but there have been many people who have been involved in this whole exercise. So thank you very much, all of you, from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you. We'll end by saying one Hashem Vahu. Hashem Vahu Vahishtem Asti Ushta Asti Ushta Ahammai Yat Ashai Vahishtai Hashem. Yazdan Panabad, Derzio Shatbad. Hope to see you all again next month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Goodbye. Bye Farida, bye Kersi. Bye Rizbe.
Thank you, Dr. Ramya. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ramya. It was wonderful. As always. Thank you. And the Ashemvo, the vibration was beautiful. So thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On.
Thank you, Dr. Amir and Aza.
Thank you. So that's me. I really feel that's right. That's